Well, every year we take our Miss Magnolia State pageant queens on a prize trip, and this year we took them to Europe, and of course it was during the weekend of the worldwide IT glitch. So our group was scattered all over different airlines, and you can see our group of 6, we had to take Turkish Airlines, and we actually missed the first day and a half of our cruise to Greece. We had to fly into Istanbul, Turkey, and then catch a flight to Bodrum, Turkey, because that's where our cruise ship was actually making the next stop at. So we had to jump on the cruise ship in Bodrum, Turkey. We had to spend the night there. It wasn't so bad. You know, sometimes you think stereotypically where other countries aren't as nice or advanced as we are, but the airport was beautiful. It was large, it was modern, and so many restaurants. It was just a really nice place to have to kill some time at. The worldwide IT glitch just messed up so many people's travel plans. Like, we had to fly from Jackson, Mississippi to Atlanta, and then we were supposed to fly to Greece. But with the IT glitch, our Atlanta flight did not get canceled, but the next flight did. So we ended up having to take our flight from Jackson to Atlanta, wait a day and a half before we could catch the Turkish airline flight to get to Turkey and then catch up with the cruise ship. Our other group, they were supposed to leave from Jackson to Atlanta, but that leg of their flight got canceled. So they all had to get up at midnight, jump in the car, and go drive to Atlanta. And then you see here some of our group that had to go to Boston to catch their next flight. It was really hard, and I really didn't think we were all going to make it, but we did. God made it happen. And here's some of our group smiling, sending me pictures through text, letting me know that they were okay and they were on their way to Greece. So luckily, we all did make it to Greece. And after a day and a half, we were all reunited and we were able to have fun as a big pageant family. So we all did get at least 5.5 days together, but most of our group, beside the 6 of us, did get their full 7 days. Like, here are some of the pageant girls who sent me pictures of their first stop in Rhodes, Greece. Now, we did not get to see Rhodes, Greece on this particular trip because we did get there a day and a half late. But we had actually been to Rhodes, Greece before, and I loved Rhodes. It's really a great shopping area. You can get a lot of great deals and bargains. It's just a fun place to see. So back to us, we're in the airport at Bodrum, and then that night we pull up into a little hotel that we did have to pay for ourselves. It was about $140 a night. That was just an added expense out of our pocket, but a decent place to spend the night. The lobby was cool. The rooms were a little bit small, but you know, you can't complain. At least you are getting to take your vacation. So here's a picture of our room in Bodrum, Turkey, if you're wondering what a small boutique hotel room looks like in Bodrum. And it had a modern bathroom and everything like that. So we got to sleep a little bit. We had to wake up at 6 a.m. and we went downstairs and they had these little plates for breakfast already prepared for us. And then we got a few more things. We had a cat watching us from outside. There's a lot of cats everywhere there. And then we took a couple pictures in the lobby, and luckily our transfer, like our taxi drivers, were already waiting on us because we had pre-scheduled that for 7 a.m. So it was about a 45-minute taxi drive to the cruise ship, and here we are finally getting on the Norwegian Getaway cruise ship. So excited to finally be there. We took a picture that we finally made it. We had to go through customs and everything, and this is what our tiny little cruise ship room looked like. It was so small. And then our nephew PJ and niece Savannah greeted us at one of the meals. And then we just walked around and kind of admired all the views here in Bodrum because we'd probably never be back here again. So just soaking it all in, enjoying it. It was beautiful from a distance. And then we actually walked around the cruise ship just a little bit to see what it looked like because we were excited to finally be on the cruise ship. It looked like a really nice cruise ship. Now, we had already had a couple really hard days before we finally made it to the cruise ship with all that traveling and transferring. Oh, it was just hard, but it was worth it when we finally got on board because it's a beautiful ship and we knew we were going to have at least 5.5 days of fun. So what I did was I just walked around the cruise ship. I wanted to see what it looked like. I went to the arcade. I thought that would be fun while everybody was off the ship. Most of the passengers had already gotten off to explore Bodrum, and Ray went with the rest of the group to kind of get out and see Bodrum. I actually didn't want to. I wanted to go film some of the ship, and then I wanted to take a nap and catch up up on some sleep. So I ended up taking like a 4-hour nap while they were out having fun in Turkey. I actually don't know if you can consider 4 hours a nap. That might be considered like a small coma. I'm not sure. They have maps on the cruise ship where you can see where everything is, and this cruise ship ended up being 18 stories tall. That's like a small floating hotel. So I went back to the buffet area while everybody was going out to get a couple more snacks before I take that nap. And, you know, we missed a day and a half of the cruise, so we have to make up eating an extra day and a half worth of food. That's the funnest part of going on a cruise, is just eating all that good food. So I always take a couple videos of what all they have for people that haven't been on a cruise yet. When we got there, I think it was still breakfast time. We got there before lunch. I think it was about 9 when we finally got on the cruise ship. So we did get to enjoy a little bit of breakfast there. And they have specialty restaurants everywhere. I think this was like sushi. Some of them are free and some of them you do have to pay for. But they have so much free food on a cruise ship. You really don't have to pay for any food if you don't want to. Now, if you want some specific gourmet food or fancy steak, sometimes you do have to pay for things like that. Now, this was the casino. I took a little video here while everybody was out of the ship. When the ship docks, they disable all the machines. You really can't play during that time. This was a different restaurant they had that was like an Irish pub with some games. And then downstairs, you could see where they played all kinds of games where you can win prizes. Now, this is some of my family that did get off in Bodrum to have a good time. And I posted some of their pictures to show what it looked like. It does look like it's a really pretty town. And here's a guy playing with PJ. I saw these guys everywhere, like tricking all the tourists with this Turkish ice cream. It's pretty funny.
Vanilla for you. Yes, mate. Come on, catch it. Yes, please. Come on. Thank you very much. Where is ice cream? Yes, please.
PJ's a really good sport. Everybody likes PJ. He's a fun guy. He's a lot of fun, and I can see why the vendor wanted to pick on him and play with him. But it was all in good fun, and they took pictures afterwards, so you could see they just had a really fun time together. So they just walked around, did a little shopping. It's kind of always fun to look at the little stands that have all the different souvenirs. You don't need any of that stuff, but it's just fun to buy it because you're on vacation. So I kind of wish I would have went with them, but my body really needed that nap, and I can't regret staying and taking that 4-hour nap. I think it's the longest nap I've ever taken in my life. So, of course, we went back to the buffet because that's what you do on the cruise ship. They had some cool carved watermelons and things. And then we just got a couple of snacks. I kind of found out like 3 and 4 o'clock every day they had out a lot of desserts and cupcakes and things like that. I think it was tea time on the cruise ship. And they always had pizza out. Everybody loves pizza there. So I finally did go out just to see a little of Bodrum because Ray and PJ wanted to go get in the water because the cruise ship was docked right by a beach. Now, I'm not that adventurous. I don't want to get out in the water, but they did, and it looks like they had a good time. There's our cruise ship right there on the left, and you can see how close it was to the beach. It was actually like a 2-minute walk to get there, so they can say they did play in the waters right there in Bodrum, Turkey. There they are out there having a good time. But it was kind of funny. When they got out of the water, they said they kind of felt itchy. And then one of them, I can't remember who it was, they looked it up on Google, and they thought they had sea lice. So here are just a couple more shots and pictures of how pretty the little bay area looked right there in Bodrum. I mean, it's such a nice escape, just to escape the world a little bit. You're not worried about your bills and your problems that you have back home. You're just enjoying your life, enjoying your vacation. And sometimes that's what it's all about. You just got to stop and renew and recharge and take in the environment, look at the beauty of everything. And that's certainly what we did. And I think I'm really becoming addicted to traveling so much. So now all extra money we save and everything, we always try to find trips and just go enjoy ourselves. So pretty much that was our day in Bodrum. For me, just a couple hours in Bodrum, but for everybody else, they went and looked around and enjoyed it and had a good time with it. I don't regret it. Like I said, I did need that nap, but I am glad I got to say that I saw it. So we actually only stayed out here on the beach area for about an hour or so. And then we started heading back to the cruise ship because everybody wanted to get a shower and freshen up. And then, of course, grab a couple snacks. We did see a little party pirate ship go by. That was pretty cool. It had a lot of tourists on it with a lot of loud music. They were having a good time. But I would much rather be on the beach by myself watching them have a good time than being in that mix of people like that. Because I have done that before and it is fun. But as I get older, I just enjoy some alone time. So we jumped back on the ship. This is how pretty it was. It had a big mermaid graphic along the side of the ship. And when we got back on, they were still serving cupcakes and treats, which I don't really have a sweet tooth. But when you see it, you do have to grab something because it's all free, of course. Basically, the rest of the night, we just kind of relaxed and went and had dinner. It was just a good night. So the next day, our cruise ship stops at Kusadasi, Turkey. We've actually been to Kusadasi before, and it's a great town in Turkey. We've never had any trouble there. Our girls did have a little incident where they were scared getting in a taxi cab. So do watch that if you ever go there. So what we did, we always take the escorted tours from the ship. And we did take a tour to go to Ephesus, which are ruins. And then we went to the home of, well, the last home, they say, of the Virgin Mary. And then they always take you to one of the carpet stores to see if they can talk you into buying one of those expensive Turkish carpets. So this is us just on the little bus going to the different stops. They drove us through the town, and when they drove us along the water, we got to see some nice views. And then we saw it last time, but there was a water park out there just out in the middle of nowhere when you're driving. Now, they did have a bad forest fire there, so a lot of the forest was burnt. Now, this is when we got to the entrance of Ephesus, which if you do go to Kusadasi, make sure you go here because this is our second time here. And it was just as impressive. The reason we came back is because we had our nephew PJ, and we wanted him to see this because it is that amazing. And you just never know if you're going to be in that part of the world again. So they have different relics everywhere that they've uncovered. And I believe I'm right in saying they've only uncovered like 18 or 20% of the ruins. The rest of them, they believe, are still buried. So over the years, they might even find more and more of the ruins. Now, when you take these tours, you do have an English-speaking tour guide, so she gives you all the history and the facts about everything, or you can kind of wander off a little bit on your own and kind of see some things if you get bored with a tour, but she does have a lot of great information. We did veer off just a little bit just to take a lot of pictures because we're just those type of people that take a lot of pictures to document our trip. So one thing I like to do here is we always look for cats because they have so many stray cats and they do feed them and everything. Like here's one right here, just having his lazy day at the foot of a statue. So here we are taking our cheesy tourist pictures. And this place, I think we stayed here, I want to say about 2 hours, but you don't get bored at all because there's so much to see. And oop, there's another cat. Like I said, that's one of my favorite things to do. And they're not really scared of people because so many people take pictures of them. So down here at the end of the hill, they have this structure that's 2 stories that they actually put back together. And she said a little bit of it was reproduction, you know, so they couldn't find every single piece of it. But I think it was like, I want to say like 75% real and only like 25% reproduction. Now, I want to say the structure was a library. I'm pretty sure that it was a library. Now, when you go on this tour, just make sure you're ready to walk because there is a lot of walking involved, but it's not that bad. I mean, I'm not in great shape, but I was able to do it. So if you have trouble with your legs or knees or anything, you might not want to do it, but like I said, not too bad. Now, when you get through with the ruins, they whisk you through this marketplace like so fast. You only get like 5 or 10 minutes, and I'd rather have like 45 minutes or an hour here because there was a lot of bargains. And Ray actually got a pair of, I'm doing finger quotation marks, Birkenstocks for $10 a pair. Like, he really likes to bargain with the vendors. I don't. Whatever they tell me, I usually just pay. I hate bargaining with people, but some people like that game. Here they are looking at their shoes. So then we got back on our bus. This is a picture of the bus. It's kind of small. It didn't hold that many people. But then we went to the home of the last home, I keep forgetting to say that, of the Virgin Mary, they believe. And we had a very long line to wait in. It was kind of hot to wait. But here we are. They had, I don't know if they were monks or just priests and nuns out there praying different prayers outside the house. And then, like I said, it took us probably 45 minutes maybe to stand in line. And when you finally get up here to go in the house, it takes maybe 15 seconds to go through. You don't get to stand there very long, and you're not allowed to take video inside. So, of course, they have a souvenir shop right when you come out of the house. So actually, it was a pretty long line for people trying to buy those souvenirs. So I decided I was going to go to the souvenir shops closer by the bus when you first came in, because we were on a very limited time schedule. Now, when I was walking back to the bus, I saw these walls of fabric. People take pieces of fabric and they tie it in a knot and put it on the wall and say a prayer, and they hope their prayers are answered. So hopefully they all were. So this is me coming up on the souvenir shop that was up closer by the buses, because I am one of those rule followers. I like to be on time. I don't like to be late. I never like being the last one on a bus. So this is what the souvenir shops look like right by the buses. And they did actually have some good prices. I actually got some good deals there. Now our next stop, we're taking a picture here at the carpet making factory. They also have a showroom where they want you to buy carpets. But first they let you see the demonstrations of the very talented ladies that actually weave the carpets. And last time we came, we actually did buy one of the carpets because I had never seen that kind of artistry before. It was just impressive. So we didn't buy a big $10,000 rug or anything, but we bought a small one to put in our hallway. Now this is where they show us where they get the silk to make the silk rugs. They come from these cocoons, and the silk is actually super strong. It's just as strong as fishing line, they said. But they always do this demonstration just to show you where it comes from, so you can see how time consuming that is for them to gather the silk to make the rugs. Now then you start walking down the hallway to go to the big showroom where they want you to buy something. And I mean, if I was a millionaire, if I was a lottery winner, I would have these rugs all in my house. They're so beautiful. But they start laying them out, and they probably, it depends. Last time we went, they probably laid out 50 different rugs for you to look at. They're showing you different colors and different sizes, hoping you might be interested. And then they offer you either alcohol or hot apple cider and little snacks just to kind of thank you for coming to see the presentation. This is what it looked like. We did get a little fried cheese pastry that was really good. So we did not buy a rug this time, but Ray was pretty tempted. He went to a private showroom and he was trying to use his bargaining skills. There he is, and they wouldn't come down as low as he wanted, so he did not get one. But I was really afraid he was about to pop that credit card out, and we were about to end up with our second Turkish rug. But we're happy with the one. So the carpet store was our last stop on the tour, and we jumped back on the bus and they took us back to the port. They actually brought us right up to the cruise ship almost, so we didn't have much of a walk at all. So I definitely recommend, if you go to these different countries, take those escorted tours that the cruise ships offer, because you can get lost in these big cities and you like to know that you are safe and you know where you're going. So we got back on the cruise ship, and here's a little picture of their art gallery. We used to go to those because you would always get a little piece of free art, but we haven't been to those in a long time. They're very pretty to look at. I bought one a long time ago for like $200. It was one of the cheapest one, but some of these sell for thousands and thousands, but they're pretty, but I don't need that. So we met up with some of our family when we got back on the cruise ship, took a couple pictures, walked around the ship, and then we finally had dinner with the queens. Now, when we take these trips with the queens, we do try to have dinner together every night, but during the day, we let everybody explore on their own and be with their families. So here's some of our queens from the Miss Magnolia State Pageant at the dinner. We're all playing, having a good time. It was so much fun. I love being able to take our Mississippi girls out of the country, especially to Europe. Here's one of our tables with all of our people. And then here's another one. We had a group of 22 people on this cruise, and every single one of them were amazing people, and they were just so much fun. Here's my French onion soup I got. It's my favorite. And then I did get a steak one night. You can get free steak during the complimentary meals. Now here's Tracy, our Mrs. Magnolia State at dinner. And then we have Ava Knight, our junior Miss Magnolia State. And next we have Brentley. She's our Miss Teen Magnolia State. Unfortunately, Olivia was at the other table, so I didn't get a picture of her with her food. Now, that was such a fun day for everybody. Now, our next day on the cruise was in Crete, Greece. Now, we had been to Crete before, but we got there too early where there wasn't a lot of things open. But this trip, we had all the queens with us, so we were having a fun day. You could take a taxi ride from the cruise ship to the shopping area for $10 a taxi. You can get at least 4 people in there, so that's a pretty good deal. You don't have to walk forever. We walked the first time we went there, and it was a long walk, so it's definitely worth that $10 for a taxi cab. Now, these streets are just loaded with shops. You can do a lot of shopping. You can find some good deals here. There's a little bit of everything for different taste levels. There's cheap stuff, there's expensive stuff, but we just had a good time. So since our group was so large, we kind of all did hang around in the same couple of streets, but we all decided on a time to meet so everybody could kind of shop for what they wanted to shop for. I love the variety of souvenirs they have at these different shops. And one thing I really love about taking our Miss Magnolia State queens to places like this is I knew I didn't start traveling until I was like 50 to Europe and everywhere. And here we are giving a girl between the ages of 12 to 14, 15 to 17, a Miss and a Mrs. the chance to go to Europe. And all of us being from Mississippi, a lot of people from Mississippi don't get the opportunity to travel to Europe. So that's one thing I'm really proud about the Miss Magnolia State pageant for offering these trips to the girls so they have a memory that will last a lifetime. So our queens usually take their prize trip about halfway through their year, maybe a little more than halfway through. And then they have until November until they crown new winners, when the new winners will win a prize trip. So we get these girls for 1 year, so we try to show them a good time, let them have a great year, because we're really proud to be part of their journey. Another thing I like is their main prize is the trip. Our queens actually don't go to a national pageant or anything to compete for a national title. Being the state queen is the highest honor from our pageant system. So one thing I do like about that is their year is not really determined on how they placed in a national pageant. There's no pressure. They just get to be a state queen and have a great year and have a lot of fun. I always love these little Hansel and Gretel shops in Europe. They're like full of these gourmet ice cream cones that you can just get loaded and stacked. They're so cool. Now here's my nephew PJ and my niece Savannah. Just having a good time, I guess. And then here's a picture of my elusive nephew Hunter and my sister-in-law Summer. So then we just explored a little bit more in downtown Crete. We didn't take any kind of excursion or pay any extra to do anything. We decided just to make Crete a shopping experience because there's several streets that are just loaded with vendors. There's all kinds of fun things. They know tourists come here, so they have a lot of people dressed up and just a lot of fun stores and things to buy. Now, when you're shopping in Europe, most of the places take euros. And then if you don't have cash, I would say 90% of the vendors do take a credit card. And since I do own a toy museum, I'm always looking for new toys to add to the collection. They did have little walk-up restaurants and nice restaurants throughout Crete, so you definitely won't go hungry there. So we took a couple last pictures, and then we decided to get back in those $10 taxis and go back to the cruise ship. I think we got some dinner on the cruise ship, and we went to see this show there called the $1 Million Quartet. It was with Johnny Cash and Elvis and Carl Perkins and Jerry Lee Lewis. And it was such a great show. It was like a Broadway show. This is the type of show that would cost you about $200 to go watch. It was so worth seeing. Very strict about no pictures or video during their show. So I did film the little promo they had out in the lobby showing you a few little pieces of the show. Then we went to the buffet dinner, and Ray actually saw some of the characters from the show. And then we let our nephew PJ try gambling at the casino. We sponsored him $30, and it was the best $30 we ever spent. We all had so much fun playing the penny machines, and hopefully we didn't make him addicted to gambling. Well, thanks for watching. That was the highlight footage of our first 3 days on the cruise ship, and I will do one more video of our final 2 days in Santorini and Mykonos. So until our next adventure, we'll see you then.